Sean Strickland is done with the UFC. He said, I gotta leave the UFC and beat up Jake Paul. That's it. Cut my contract, UFC. It's time for me to leave. Forbes just dropped their top paid athletes list. Canelo and Jake Paul, the only combat athletes on it. Strickland added, even if I made just a fraction of that, I'm making more than what the UFC's paying me. I'd beat the brakes off Jake Paul.
Sean Strickland just said the one thing the UFC absolutely did not want a former champion saying out loud. He looked at Forbes' highest paid athletes list, saw Jake Paul sitting at number 23 with $70 million, and basically told the UFC to tear up his contract. No diplomacy, no PR spin, just cut my contract, it's time to leave. And here's the part that's making this explode. This isn't some washed-up gatekeeper begging for a payday. This is a two-time middleweight title challenger, a former champ, openly saying he'd make more money beating up a YouTuber than he made in his entire UFC career. That's not a call-out, that's an indictment. And the reaction across the MMA world has been brutal, because once a champion says the quiet part out loud, every other fighter starts asking the same question. So how did Sean Strickland reach the point where leaving the UFC for Jake Paul actually makes sense to him? Stick with me, because the deeper you go into this, the worse it looks for the UFC.
Thank you, gentlemen. Good luck tomorrow night. Thank you, gentlemen. Good luck tomorrow night. Thank you, gentlemen. Good luck tomorrow night.
Before the Jake Paul talk even started, Strickland was already swinging at the UFC. He called the pay scale predatory. He said fighters would make more money working at Walmart. And these aren't anonymous prelim fighters saying it. This is a guy who headlined pay-per-views, wore the belt, and carried main events. When the former champion is publicly comparing UFC pay to retail jobs, that's not a complaint anymore. That's a signal. And it set the stage for what came next. Because the moment that Forbes list dropped, Strickland didn't just vent. He basically announced his exit strategy on camera.
What was that?
Just a day that don't fire me, let's take Paul.
Thank you for that. Oh. Hey, Sean.
Get it.
How was your UFC X experience so far today?
Oh, I love it, bro. The UFC fans are the fucking most insane. I love it.
Last one, Canelo or Crawford?
Oh, that was
Ah,
awesome.
yes.
We got that live.
Yes.
That was cool.
How cool is that?
Let's go.
Yes.
I said hi to Sean Strickland. Let's go.
Yes. This is why.
And this isn't even the first time Strickland has aimed at Jake. Months before the Forbes moment, he was already at UFC X in Vegas, calling Jake Paul out for a boxing brawl, saying he'd do it for free. Free. That's the part fans need to sit with. A former UFC champion offering to fight a YouTuber for nothing just because he hates him that much. And now suddenly that same fight is the financial lifeline he wants out of his UFC deal for? That's not consistency. That's desperation dressed up as toughness. And it tells you exactly how heavy that paycheck disparity feels from the inside.
Thank you, gentlemen. Good luck tomorrow night.
Floyd Mayweather is officially coming out of retirement. The legendary boxer announced that after his upcoming exhibition fight with Mike Tyson this spring, he will end his retirement and return to professional boxing. Mayweather, who retired in 2017 with an
But here's where it gets weird. The UFC just signed a $7.7 billion deal with Paramount Plus. Billions, with a B. And Strickland publicly said fighters aren't seeing a dime of it. He flat out told reporters that the doubled $100,000 fight night bonuses are nothing, that no one's getting paid effing more. So you've got a record-breaking media deal on one side, a YouTuber on the Forbes list on the other, and the fighters in the middle wondering why their share of the pie didn't move at all. That's the contradiction Strickland keeps poking at, and it's the contradiction the UFC has no good answer for.
What are you expecting with it?
I think it's going to be a good fight, you know. He's on a good win streak. It's going to be a good W under my belt. I think it'll be a lot of kickboxing. I think it'll be more kickboxing than wrestling, which I'm excited for.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen you like compliment his wrestling quite a bit.
Dude, yeah, no, I mean, the fucking guy could wrestle, dude. He fucking grabs a leg, doesn't let go, good guillotines and shit. But I think it'll be a lot of striking. I think he wants to try to prove some shit. So I say, let's do it.
Do you think he's able to prove that with you, or?
He shouldn't be able to. I should fuck him up, you know. I've been working my ass off. My last fight kind of sucked.
You can hear it in every recent Strickland interview. He's tired, he's angry, he's done pretending. He cuts interviews short, he insults the company, he tells the truth about contracts in a way most fighters are too scared to. And every time he does, fans are split. Half think he's burning the bridge that built him, the other half think he's finally saying what every UFC fighter has been whispering for years. Whose side are you on? Drop it in the comments, because the answer to that question is exactly why this story isn't dying down.
He stepped into boxing with one of the baddest men on the planet, who's 40 pounds heavier than him and 6 inches taller. That's insane. He's one of the most skilled fighters on the planet. My brother, as a fucking YouTuber, went 6 rounds with him in a fight with a broken jaw and rolled ankle. I'm so proud of him. That was just unbelievable.
I saw you talking crap to AJ at one point.
I was trying to get his head. I think I pissed him off. I was just saying fuck that shit. I love AJ.
Yeah.
But bro,
I saw you going down the fight game.
I was talking so much. But I just pissed him off. Then he broke my brother's jaw. Fuck this guy.
Broke his jaw, huh?
Yeah, his jaw's fucked. Yeah. He don't care though. Jake's having a fucking blast.
And the pros saw it too. Lennox Lewis, Logan Paul, boxers, MMA fighters, they all watched Jake get folded by Joshua. And the takeaway wasn't Jake is finished. The takeaway was, how is this guy still richer than every UFC champion alive? That question hit harder in the MMA world than any punch Joshua threw. Because every UFC fighter watching that broadcast had the same thought Sean Strickland said out loud. This man just got knocked out, and he still made generational money. Meanwhile, a UFC champion defends his belt for 15 minutes and walks out with a fraction of that.
Than Tommy Fury that were legitimate world-class boxers.
I don't even remember what happened in the Tommy
He lost a close decision, but it was a good fight. It was a good fight, though. He's a good boxer. If he wasn't a YouTuber, people would be way more impressed with him.
Yeah.
The problem is he was like a famous kid, and then no one took him seriously.
Yeah.
But
and then he started too with like more spectacle-ish fights. People were like, "Oh, this is you." He fought, Nate Robinson, like a basketball player.
But the thing is, he knocked Nate Robinson
He knocked him
dead.
the fuck out.
And
yeah.
it's the way he did it that I was trying to tell people. I'm like, no, that was skillful.
Even Joe Rogan reacted to that knockout. And Joe is the guy who's defended the UFC pay model for years. But the second Jake Paul became Forbes list rich, even casual fans started questioning the structure. That's the part the UFC can't control. The conversation moved past Twitter arguments and into mainstream sports media. And once that happens, fighters like Strickland get bolder, because they're not the only ones noticing anymore.
Century, a weapon will be invented like no other. Better, stronger, faster, unstoppable. He has only one purpose: win fights.
Look at the state of Jake Paul's outfit. He's gone for the Hulk Hogan look, hasn't he? Paying homage to Hulk Hogan, rest in peace. But he has died, hasn't he, Hulk Hogan?
Yeah.
Just checking, I thought he did.
Definitely keeping that.
Thought he did. Rest in peace, Hulk.
You a big fan, mate?
Back in the day, but...
More of a rock guy, aren't you?
Even Tom Aspinall, the heavyweight champion, reacted to Jake Paul getting knocked out. The biggest names in MMA can't stop talking about a YouTuber's career. That alone tells you how deep into the UFC's ecosystem Jake Paul has burrowed. He's not on the outside throwing rocks anymore. He's the financial benchmark fighters are measuring themselves against. And the moment that became true, Sean Strickland's exit demand stopped sounding crazy and started sounding rational.
It's like Josh with a Hokit. It's like, dude, dude, you're a grown-ass man, bro. You're like almost 30 years old and you're acting like a fucking Jake Paul when he was 13. Like, stop, bro. You made it. People know who you are. Just stop. You don't got to go interview homeless people and be fucking weird, dude. Just fight now. I think the thing I don't like about Josh, and again, I've met Josh. I've trained with Josh. He's actually really...
And Sean's energy lately tells you everything. He's mocking guys for acting like Jake Paul when he was 13. He's irritated. He's volatile. He's saying things in interviews that 10 years ago would have gotten a fighter blackballed. But Strickland doesn't care anymore. And that's what makes this dangerous for the UFC. Because a fighter who doesn't care about consequences is a fighter who burned the bridge on the way out if the bag is big enough on the other side.
Here, pound for pound. My best pound for pound would be Islam Makhachev, Ilia Topuria, Merab Dvalishvili, Hamzat Chimaev. To beat Islam Makhachev, it doesn't mean you're the best. It's not the best fighter that wins the fight. It happened to Islam Makhachev. I believe if he would fight Martins 10 times, he would beat him 9 times. But that one time he got clipped, and that can happen. To beat Islam Makhachev, he's very skilled. You would need a guy that can match his wrestling in a way that either controls his takedowns, or if he gets put down, manages to scramble back up, create distance, and also fight him standing up. You need a guy who puts pressure on him with a lot of fakes and feints. What do you make of GSP's comments? Do you agree with what he's saying?
And Dana White is already getting hammered for it. Every press conference, every event, the same questions keep coming back. About Jake, about pay, about why the UFC is bleeding mainstream attention to a YouTuber. Dana keeps brushing it off, calls it bullshit, says Jake's numbers aren't what people think. But the receipts on Forbes don't lie. And the longer Dana dodges that conversation, the louder fighters like Strickland get. This isn't a PR problem anymore. It's a structural one.
Than this one and defeat a streaking fighter like Imavov. You got to give him his props for that. Where does this really put him? It's hard to say. Of course, a huge one for him after suffering back-to-back losses. He did not want to lose 3 straight. He had never lost 3 straight coming into this fight and was able to keep that going here with the victory that I think, if anything, even though it did not take place officially in the middleweight division, 2 middleweights fighting at light heavyweight because of the short notice, I think it still puts him back in the mix at 185 pounds and lines him up for some potential big fights down the road here. Strickland said himself he should probably take.
And the timing makes this even messier. Strickland just took a short notice win. He's relevant, he's marketable, he's right back in the title conversation. So this isn't a fighter at the end of his rope begging for a soft retirement bout. This is an active, top 5 middleweight publicly asking out of his contract. That's the part that should terrify the UFC. Because if Strickland can ask out and survive it, the next champion who asks out is going to feel a lot more confident pulling the same move.
Undefeated 50-0 record has stayed active in recent years by taking part in exhibition bouts. The planned exhibition with Tyson is currently scheduled for April in the Democratic Republic of Congo, though a date and venue have not been officially confirmed. Once that Tyson exhibition is complete, Mayweather will make his return to sanctioned professional boxing under a new promotional deal. A first official fight is expected to take place later this summer, with his opponent yet to be announced. Mayweather says he still believes he has what it takes to break more records in the sport and aims to continue competing at the highest level.
And this is the moment the conversation got dangerous for the UFC. Because once a former champion publicly says the pay is predatory, that word doesn't go away. It sticks. It shows up in headlines. It shows up in lawsuits. It shows up in the next generation of fighters negotiating their first contracts. Predatory is the kind of language that changes how investors, sponsors, and athletes view a brand. And Strickland dropped it casually. Like he didn't even realize how heavy that word lands when it comes from a champion.
We're just kind of playing the who hits who game, but like you take someone like this, it's a unique, it's creative, it's something I'm excited for.
Does being the underdog into the fight give you a little bit more motivation, or is it just the same for you every time you go out?
I don't even know. I didn't even think about it. Just a day.
Yeah. And, you know, congrats on, you know, the marriage. I feel like since then, people are saying you're kind of a changed man as far as the personality goes. Do you find anything in that or no? Or
No, man, you know, you are who you are at your core. You know, I think
And here's what makes the whole thing even more brutal. Strickland isn't the kind of fighter who plays the media. He doesn't say things for clicks. He's awkward. He's blunt. He cuts interviews off when he's bored. So when he says this stuff about Jake Paul and UFC pay, it doesn't feel like a publicity move. It feels real. It feels lived in. It feels like a guy who finally did the math on his own career and realized he got shortchanged for 15 years.
Vegas is so special.
So awesome.
Yes.
Thank God you saw that.
Hey, I know. I was like, hey, I definitely want to collaborate with you whenever you're in Vegas.
I'll
I'm
be
gonna take
back.
you to my favorite food spots, entertainment and stuff. We're gonna do a part 2. But lastly, Miami Dolphins, Tua Tagovailoa.
Tua Tagovailoa, I hope he feels better and that he's being strong. We got a great team. I don't want Tyreek to leave us. I love Tyreek. I have his jersey. I love you, Hill. Let us Miami strong.
And the fans? They're split right down the middle. Half think Sean is being delusional, that he'd get knocked out by Jake, that boxing exposes MMA fighters, that he's only chasing this because Joshua exposed Jake's chin and made him beatable. The other half thinks Sean is finally telling the truth nobody else has the guts to tell. Both sides are loud. Both sides are emotional. And the comment sections under every Strickland clip right now are a war zone. Which side are you on? Because this argument isn't going away anytime soon.